about the Supreme Court nominee on a powerful Fox News special.
President Barack Obama is on a whirlwind tour of Ghana. It's the bottom of the hour. Caroline Shively has that and more on all the stories we're following right now. Hello, Caroline.
Hi to you, Brian. A little more than an hour ago, the president and his family took a tour of a former slave fortress. Cape Coast Castle is where thousands of Africans were kept in dungeons before being herded onto ships bound for America. The First Lady is the great-great-granddaughter of slaves. Obama said the slave site reminded him of the terrible ability people have to overlook horrific things.
One of the most striking things that I heard was that right above the dungeons in which male captives were kept was a church. And that reminds us that sometimes we can tolerate and stand by great evil even as we think that we're doing good.
The head of a Philadelphia swim club caught up in a racism controversy is defending the organization. The president of the Valley Club said he canceled the membership of dozens of minority children for safety reasons, not because of racism. John Dusler said the number of children in the shallow section of the pool, many of them unable to swim, wasn't safe. The campers report hearing racist comments from pool members. A warning to all those who text and walk. Watch where you're going. A New York teenager was walking and texting when she fell down an open manhole. She tumbled 6 feet and landed in several inches of raw sewage. The teen had cuts on her arms and back, but she was not seriously injured and says she's now able to laugh about it. And it was a big night for San Francisco Giants pitcher Jonathan Sanchez. The 26-year-old was just returning to rotation after 3 weeks in the bullpen when he pitched the first no-hitter in the Major League this season. He led the Giants to an 8-0 victory over the San Diego Padres. Those are your top stories right now. Brian, back to you.
All right, thank you, Caroline. And Caroline, I want you to stick around. Don't go anywhere because I know you're going to have a special interest in this next story.
You got it.
For those of you who don't know, there is a sport in some parts of this country called noodling. It's a very interesting way of catching giant catfish. I'm talking 50-pounders and better. Chris Gutierrez is live from Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, where the Super Bowl of noodling is underway. Hello, Chris.
Hello there, Brian. We can't let Caroline off the hook just yet. Get it off the hook. In fact, Caroline was kind enough to show us a little picture of a recent noodling expedition in her home state of Kentucky. Take a look at this picture here. Caroline, quickly tell us, how big was this catch?
It was about 35 pounds there. Yeah, we reached in. It's in our secret watering hole in Kentucky. Dug in there and caught him.
No disrespect, Caroline, but you know what they call a 35-pound catfish here in Oklahoma?
I'm embarrassed to ask.
A minnow. That's right. You wouldn't have a chance winning this tournament, Caroline. Take a look at some of this video here. We went earlier to learn a little bit more about that noodling sport. Right now it's spawning season, and these catfish don't want anything to disturb their eggs. So when they see someone's arm coming at them, they snap and bite you, and when they do, the noodlers grab the fish by the mouth and they wrestle it into the boat. Now, this sport is also dangerous. These catfish have small teeth that feel like wire brushes, so when you slide your hand across them, not to mention there's beavers and there's snakes, so bleeding and bruising is common. Death is rare, but last year, 69 people across the country died while noodling, and one man here in Oklahoma was seriously injured. Listen.
His arm got jerked out, completely dislocated, and he had to have surgery, and he is 100% disabled now because of that, from a fish.
How big was the fish?
He guessed him to go about 85. He didn't get him. He tried to go in and get his arm in it, and when he pulled it out before he could get the tail, that thing spun on him. His arm went around 3 times, they said.
And back live, we want to show you Bob Thornton. He lives here in Pauls Valley, and part of this tournament is they're actually giving live demonstrations of how noodling works, and you can see him underwater here. Imagine if he's crawling in between some rocks there, and you see how that guy goes after him? You see that right there? You grab that fish by the mouth, and you pull him up, and you try and win. The tournament, we're told that you could get fish as big as 60 pounds or even bigger. This one here, I'm guessing, is probably about a 25-pounder or so. Bob, again, just giving us a first-hand view, thank you, Bob, of how this tournament works. So, Brian, the motto here, no rod, no reel, no problem. Back to you in
But
DC.
Chris, I have to ask you a question now, because we talked about this. I was just back in Oklahoma. You had the opportunity to try it, and how did you come out?
I did. Well, I folded, Brian. I didn't go down in there because with my luck, I'd come across that 100-pounder. I'd stick my arm in there and it'd break my arm plumb in two. So I didn't try. My wife was making fun of me.
I want to make sure I have this right. Caroline Shively, you had no fear of sticking your hand inside and pulling up a 35-pound catfish, right?
I think that may just make me dumb, Brian.
All right, well, we got to let it go.
But see, the
at
difference,
that.
Brian, is I'd come across the 100-pounder here in Oklahoma.
All right, we're going to leave it at that. What fun down in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma today. Wish I were there. NASA, by the way, has just delayed the launch of the Space Shuttle Endeavour until tomorrow, the third time the launch has been scrubbed. Phil Keating is standing by over at the Kennedy Space Center. We go